Hi, so this is a very short and sweet video for those of you who are new to tapping, mostly used by my clients, but hopefully for many other people, that explains how tapping works in a very few sentences and shows the basic tapping points. So tapping for me is the only real and effective tool that can produce long-lasting results that manages to counteract the emotional or stress response we get to so many things. Well, basically, and I know most of you have felt this at one point or another, we start having really intense responses to things like our boss, our partner, our siblings, speaking in public, exercise, all sorts of things. And what's going on in our body at that point is that something called the amygdala, which is in our brain, is releasing cortisol and is basically putting our body in a situation where we either have to fight someone or something or run away or take flight. And the problem is that when we start having this kind of response to a specific trigger, which comes through experience, then our body and our brain can't tell the difference. So we actually can't tell the difference in here and in here between our boss and a tiger, or our boss and an earthquake. So what tapping does is by literally stimulating and applying gentle pressure to the meridian points, to some of the points through which energy flows in our body, it actually literally counteracts that emergency signal. Because the thing is, if you are facing danger, then cortisol and adrenaline and all these things that happen at that point are really useful. They make you run faster, they make you think faster, but if you're not using them for an emergency life or death situation, they're actually really toxic, and you don't want them running and circulating in your body. So we always start tapping sitting down, preferably with both feet on the ground, so not crossing legs. And it is ideal for you to be well hydrated, so if you haven't done so yet, always before tapping, go ahead and have a glass of water. And to be able to focus in the moment, I think the amazing thing about tapping is that you don't have to concentrate really hard or believe every word that your tapping practitioner asks you to say. But you do have to try and be in the moment, so shutting off mobile phones, not having distractions. And the way tapping works then is that you do those gentle movements where you apply pressure and you repeat certain words. So if you're tapping with someone, they will tell you what to say. And if you're using a video, then you just repeat whatever is coming up in the video. So before starting, it's always a good idea to locate what it is that's going on for you, so what emotion you're going through. And again, if you're working with someone, they will ask you to do that. But if you're doing it on your own, it's a good idea to just get a sense of what's going on. So am I feeling stress, anxiety, sadness, and just write it down if you can somewhere. And also have a think about where it is in your body, because what we're trying to do is send a signal to the body that this is okay, that we've got this. So have a look and see if it's in your stomach, if you feel something in your throat, and what it is that you feel. And don't spend too much time doing this, but it's just because it's useful for you to have a point of reference so you can see where you started and where you got with the tapping. And what we'll usually do in a tapping session is then we will see that emotion, the first one that comes up, how strong it is on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being extremely strong. So again, if you're on your own and you're experimenting with videos or even tapping freely on your own, it's a very important step that you must take before you tap, because that way you'll see how you're progressing. So we will always start with a setup statement, tapping on the side of a hand here with 4 fingers. Now you can switch hands, doesn't matter which one. And this is usually the time when we say, even though I'm feeling this, whatever that is, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now you don't have to memorize this. Usually when you're tapping with someone, as I said, they will tell you what to say, or if you're following a video, the script is there. So don't worry about anything, just about doing the movements and repeating. And then after a few sentences here, and this is called a karate chop, we move to the eyebrow. So you want to be tapping at the beginning of the eyebrow, just before the arch of the nose. And here we use 2 fingers because it's a smaller space. And some people like to use both hands, or the other hand, whatever works for you is fine. And then we'll move to the side of the eye, so it's just here, as if you were to pull a line from your eye. 2 fingers again. This is kind of the frequency you want. Again, whichever hand feels comfortable, you can switch them up during the tapping. And then we have under the eye, so right on this bone on your cheek, but you want it to be under your eye, under your pupil. Okay. And then under the nose, so you want to turn your lip down a little bit so you can really get in there. And then on your chin, which is basically just between your lip and your chin. And you want to go like this, which sounds funny, but it's useful. And then the collarbone. So your collarbone is like a necklace, if you can imagine that. And so you want to tap right underneath that with 4 fingers, so right underneath the little bone. Maybe leaving an inch between the bone and when your fingers start tapping. Again, some people like to do 2 here. Now I think this is one where I really want you to focus on the pressure you're applying. So you don't want to do it so soft that you're not feeling anything, but especially if you're tapping about something that's at a high emotional charge for you, you don't want to be doing this and taking it out on yourself, okay? So be gentle with yourself. And, it's not any better the more fiercely you tap. So there is just a very fine medium where you want to be tapping strong enough that you can feel it, but light enough that it's not hurting you. And then the one before last is underneath the arm. So it's just where the bra is for women. And you tap there with all 4 fingers. And the last one is at the top of the head, and you can do a little circle here. And again, you can do this over clothes. Doesn't matter, okay? And that's it. And afterwards, you always just shake out your hands a little bit and breathe, and then check in and see where that emotion is and if it's moved around in your body at all. And if you're watching this because we're going to tap together as part of my coaching sessions, then I really look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing the changes that this can bring about in your life. Take care.